Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Eric Anojas here with the First Coast Heroes team at Navy to Navy Homes. And today we're going to talk about first-time home buyers and questions you should be asking while you're getting started on the process. Because we all know that getting started with something new is kind of overwhelming. We don't know where to start. There's so much information on the internet. So I'm going to break it down to you guys. If you're a military first-time home buyer here in the Jacksonville market, tune into this video because I'm going to break down who you should talk to first, what are your first steps, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. So you're a military first-time home buyer, don't know where to start, so much information out there on the internet. Who do I even talk to? These are all the questions we're going to cover right now. I'm going to break down just quick reference and maybe who you should talk to first, because typically it's either going to be a lender or a realtor. So we're going to talk about your benefits talking to the lender, and then we're going to talk about your benefits talking to a realtor. Because as we know, we all know 5 to 6 realtors inside of our little sphere of people that we know. So we're going to start with the lender first, and then I'll get to the realtor. Okay, so a lender, they're going to have great information for you. A lot of times that we talk to our military first-time home buyers, they've already talked to either Navy Federal, Veterans United, USA, or another big bank like that helps our armed forces out. I will say this, that there are other lenders out there that are also helping out with VA loans, because before I got into the industry, I didn't know that. I literally first time got in there and I clicked on VA loans and Veterans United showed up. So went in there, I'm like, okay, I guess Veterans United Veterans Affairs loan, I guess that's the same thing, right? So that's what I did. I clicked it on, filled out the application. Before you know it, I was pre-approved. I'm like, yay, great. They said, hey, I'm going to hook you up with a realtor. I'm like, okay, sounds good. As we got into the process, I realized I couldn't qualify for a loan because if you don't have a job, you can't qualify for a loan. I was trying to do this getting out of the Navy. I'm going to do a video on that specifically, what the time frame is getting out of the military and what you can expect with qualifying for a loan. But we'll save that for another video. But specifically here, Veterans United, what I did, qualified, did everything I did, but what I didn't realize is that they were going to charge them this thing called a loan origination fee. Now, it's actually mandated by government. They can't charge more than 1% of the loan amount. So that's a lot of money, guys. $200,000 house, that's a $2,000 loan origination fee. And guess what? That's an optional charge. It's not required. So it's interesting. There are other banks as well. USA charges it, the loan origination fee, not required. Navy Federal right now is not charging it, but maybe down the road they will again. And there's other local lenders here in Jacksonville that you can talk to, and then they're also partnered up with other realtors in the area. So, lots to go to. It's kind of overwhelming where to start. So, kind of want to break down some questions with the lender, what you should be asking them, and then see if that's a good fit. If you decide to go the lender route, maybe you're going to decide to go down the realtor route first, and we'll cover that here in a minute. So if you are going to go down the lender route the first time, go ahead and ask them 3 questions. 3 basic questions you want to ask them. Hey, do you have any loan origination fees? Do you have any fees associated with this loan? Do you do VA loans? Maybe the other question you want to ask them is like, what's your interest rate? Any other hidden costs? What are my closing costs anticipated to be? So those are the big ones right there. Your interest rate, other fees, loan origination fee, and maybe a bonus question. Just ask them, hey, how available are you? A lot of times you're going to see during the real estate process that a lot of stuff happens outside of what we call banking hours, like the 9 to 5. Reason being, you are out there shopping, but typically you're probably shopping after work. And typically most people work in anywhere between 8 and 4, 9 to 5. So by the time you're out on the hunt looking, or even on Saturday and Sunday, you're going to want to talk to your lenders, say, hey, I just found this house, these are the taxes on it, what can I expect my monthly mortgage to be, what can I expect the closing costs to be? So all these questions you may want to be able to ask somebody. There are also people out there that, they're okay with handling things during the business day. But if you know you're not that type of person and you say, hey, I need to be able to call somebody immediately, then maybe that's the person you need to talk to. So those are like more your little local private lenders here, and we've got some contacts that would be happy to refer you to. But let's say you go down the realtor route. So now we know there's typically in our sphere, I know a ton of realtors before I got into the market, but into the industry. So you probably do too. You probably want to search around, see what they're doing, because I know Zillow out there, they ask you, hey, what are the questions are you supposed to ask your realtor? And Zillow's got some funny questions like, hey, is this a full-time or a part-time job? How long have you been doing this? What are some funny questions? How many houses do you sell a year? What is your different kind of commission splits? I'm like, yeah, those are good questions. But you really want to make sure that the realtor that you partner up with, the one that you hire to help you out during the transaction, they know what they're doing with the VA loan, specifically for our military buyers. Do they know all the inspections that are required? Do they know the time frames? What happens if the appraisal comes in low? So these are the different questions you want to go. And the other benefit of talking to a realtor first, I would say, is that they may even know of local lenders here in the market that may be able to help you out specifically. And one of the things that we kind of get caught up with, I guess, is that people will think that if I, recommend a lender to you, then that's the lender you've got to use. No, it's just, hey, this is somebody we've worked with in the past. We love what they do, their processes, their systems that they have created, and we know they're going to take care of the veteran. But there's going to be times that you're like, I just don't match and don't fit with them. Or I want a really low interest rate, don't really care about the customer service. I just want the more money in my bank. Hey, that's up to you. I know a lot of these bigger banks like Navy Federal, USA, and Veterans United, they're trying to compete for the local lender's business and vice versa. So, hey, if you're going to shop some lenders, I'd recommend minimum 3. Ask them the same questions. You can go to our website. We've got a place where you can do a loan officer comparison checklist and just ask them these questions. So that way you're comparing apples to apples. But yeah, going back, if you're like working with a realtor, they may have a lender partner they're working with, somebody that they just trust about the process. They know that outside of banking hours, they're going to be able to call them, get you that pre-approval pretty quickly. If they need to crunch some numbers for you, they can. So that's kind of one of the advantages of working the realtor route first as opposed to the lending route. If you go the lending route first, then that lender more than likely is going to refer you to one of their realtor partners, so kind of the back end. It's up to you. It's what kind of person you are, but those are kind of the different scenarios you can go. If I were going to do it over again, I probably would go the realtor route. I would talk to my friends, get a recommendation, get a referral, somebody that they've done business with or they know somebody they've worked with prior to, and just to see like what experience they've had and what they recommend them. Because I do that, right? I go up there and ask somebody, hey, do you have a recommendation for a carpet cleaner or for someone that paints or somebody can install this? Because, we just don't have the time to be wasting money, So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So again, couple of the questions, kind of the routes, how to get started. Either you're going to go the lender route or the realtor route. And if you go the lender route, ask them the questions like loan origination charges, any other costs associated with using you as a lender, how available are you, and your interest rate. Because a lot of times you'll be shopping around. If you're going to go the realtor route, then ask them those questions like, hey, how familiar are you with the VA loan? How familiar are you with the Jacksonville market? What kind of things can you talk to me about? Lenders that here in the area. So those are kind of the questions, kind of getting started, because as soon as you take either of those two routes, you're going to come right back into this, the middle of the pipeline. So it's really up to you. If I were going to do it, I'd probably go the realtor route. That way I could talk to them, get to learn them, see what they're all about. And then, more than likely I'm going to trust that their recommendation with the lender that they've partnered up with. Again, so hopefully that video was helpful. I just did a video the other day on closing costs associated with the VA loan, so that might be useful to you. I'll go ahead and drop a link in the comments. If you guys have any questions or anything I can do for you and answer, please drop them in the comments as well. Happy to help. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.